Welcome to the Indie Corner, where we talk about all things independent comics, specifically the greatest superhero comic book in the universe. Robert Kirkman's Invincible. I'm Mikey.
I'm Demoan.
And today, people, we're back at it again with episode 18 of Invincible. And we're going to be covering the spin-off miniseries Guarding the Globe, written by Robert Kirkman with art by Ransom Getty and Kris Anka. And yeah, sorry for not posting in about a month, keeping up with Invincible, and it took a month hiatus because we did not want to cover this.
This book was rough.
Oh God, yeah, I'm
glad we get to go back to the main story after this.
We needed to get this over with so we can go back to the Viltrumite War, part 2. But yeah, we'll just get right into it as best as we possibly can.
That's right.
All right, so you want to do issue 2?
Yep, I got issue 2. So you open up issue 2. Cover is a little splash page of them all going down, fighting Octoboss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the whole new Guardians of the Globe team falling on trying to fight him. And that's the cover. And then Mikey just told you who the art and writers were. Writers were Kirkman and Serrano, pencils Getty, inks Rathburn.
Mm-hmm.
And then we open up the book in the Australian outback with Kaboomerang, and he's fighting the dingo, who's a half man, half dingo person.
Is he half man, half dingo, or is he just
He says he's not man. He's very specific about how he doesn't want to be human.
Yeah,
I think he's just a dingo person.
Yeah,
I don't know what to describe him as.
He's all dingo, less man, but too much dingo.
Yeah. But also slightly too much man.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, after he punches this dingo, he beats up his dogs. And then he throws exploding boomerangs at them, and he kind of just kicks their ass. It's not even much of a fight.
Yeah.
And right after he's cleaning up, the rest of the Guardians of the Globe come down, and they're like, "Hey, come on, we want to recruit you." And he's like, "Oh, you're early." And he's like, "Yeah, we thought we just come here because we're in the area already."
Yeah,
so he gets on the plane, and they start talking, and we see Shapeshifter is eating Vegemite.
Yeah, Shapesmith. Yeah. And he actually enjoys eating it. He likes it.
Yeah, he says it tastes like home. It reminds him of home.
Because
so
that's
strange.
the funny thing. I always hear Vegemite, unless you're if you're not a native Australian, it tastes like shit.
No, yeah, it has to. It looks awful. But
also, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Kaboomerang. He was one of the things I kind of enjoyed in the story was Kaboomerang. A lot of the new characters that they introduced, I like. But just how the story, I think it's just the story has the book has really not great pacing. And
no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's good characters and not as good story.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, Black Samson asks Boomerang why he joined up, and Boomerang's like, "Hey, you know what? I've pretty much done everything an Aussie superhero can do, so it's time to go big time." And he decides that's his reason for joining up. He just wants to go big time.
Exactly. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it. And he also complains to Brit though that there's no chicks. There needs to be more chicks.
Yeah, there needs to be women. Which is kind of in Thrall shows his reasons for going big timer for. He's not shy about it.
No, I mean at least he's open about it. At least you know where he stands.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get off the plane and now they're in some underwater base, and they're the new Aquarius. I don't know if you remember him, but all the way back earlier in the series, our boy Invincible helped him out a little bit, and now he's the king of Atlantis. But
when was that? Was that issue
15?
I think 15. That's what. Oh shit! I didn't even fucking have to look. I just knew. Oh wow, that was a while ago when we covered that.
It was a while ago. No, but Aquarius obviously he got the help from Invincible. He didn't have to kill the last king, and he got help beating the monster thing. So he's kind of shit as a leader.
Exactly, and he's kind of a coward. Like,
yeah, he really is. And everyone's like, "Yo, he shouldn't be Aquarius," and they're like, "Hey, well, he's easy to control," and that's gosh, Cecil's reason for wanting him around because he's easy to control.
Because he's the king of all the ocean. The ocean is a lot, you know.
It's a lot of the earth, believe it or not.
So we have to get on his. Cecil needs to get on his good side.
But anyway, they outfit the entire people with underwater breathers so they can breathe underwater, and then Octoboss rushes in and they start a fight.
Shapeshift just makes gills, which I think is really gross.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, he doesn't need the breather because he can just shapeshift gills, which I think it's crazy.
It's cool, but it's gross.
It's real gross. Because then that makes me think of the deep skills, which I hate.
Oh God, Lord. Okay.
Okay, but anyway, they go through the Octoboss fight. And we learned that Octoboss was thrown off of his planet because he was too mean. And he wants to go back so they can prove that he is, in fact, the meanest. And that Atlantis is going to be where he stages his revenge, like the beginning of it. And then he's just punched. Brit and Yeti punch him at the same time, and he's just down for the count. Oh, also, I forgot about this little scene where Bulletproof gets shot by a laser. And he says, don't be scared, I'm bulletproof. And Aquarius is like, but those are lasers. And I think it's hilarious if Bulletproof actually just had a small laser hole in him after that.
Exactly. That's so funny.
Anyway, it's just the best.
Fight. I also like Yeti. I think Yeti's fun. I like Yeti. Yeah.
I actually really like Yeti too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they just kind of kick Octoboss's ass. And they kick his ass so bad that Aquarius gives up the throne to them. Like, he gives the 6 of them a throne.
No, because if you remember, the way, like, Atlantean law works is that, like, if the king...
It's a meritocracy. So the person who earns it the most gets it.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I can't defend my people or my nation, so you guys can. It's your nation now.
Yeah, like, since you've proved that you're better than me, you are like, the 6 of you are the new kings of Atlantis, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's absurd. It's the most absurd thing. But then we cut away to Mexico, and there's just this dude, El Chupacabra, and he's drunk, and his wife's calling him, but it's his ex-wife. And he wants another bottle. And then these biker dudes come up and they try to kick his ass. And they're like, hey, you can't be dressing like that. And then he's like, why not? This is who I am. And then he grows claws out of his hands to show them. And he's like, I'm going through a rough patch. Leave me be. And they're like, hey, we're sorry. We didn't know who you were. And they just leave him alone, which I think is very respectful. I appreciate that.
No, because, like, El Chupacabra, it looks like he has a rep. So...
Mm-hmm. No, he does. It looks like it. Because then Cecil comes up, and he's like, hey, I heard about what you're going through. Let me help you. And then he offers him a job, I assume. Well, that's what he does offer him. But that's what can be assumed at that point. But anyway, we find out Octoboss isn't actually defeated yet. What?
Oh, my gosh.
He breaks through the wall, and he goes to attack Aquarius, even though they're currently in the middle of the transfer of power ceremony. Mm-hmm. And he attacks Aquarius, and Aquarius stiff arms him, and he's done. He's out cold. Aquarius' stiff arm is the strongest attack in all of Invincible.
It is. So far.
But then what? Another twist? This isn't really Octoboss. It's Shapeshift. Shapeshifter was Octoboss all along. Who would have seen that one coming?
Yeah.
But now they don't.
It makes sense because if I wouldn't want to be. Thing is, like, I wouldn't want to be a king of Atlantis, so, like, it makes sense why they would cheat that way out. You know,
awful. I'd rather let the fish people run their own thing.
Exactly.
And gosh, But anyway, they get a call from Cecil looking devious after this, and he's looking real devious, and he tells them they got 2 new additions. And then we get then a third twist involving Octobos. He's actually not actually defeated, so he's free. Yes, Multi-Paul set him free.
Multi-Paul
set him free so that he can join the Order with all these mostly Asian crime syndicate bosses. And then that's the end of issue 2.
That actually should just be the name of the Order: the multiple Asian crime syndicate bosses.
Yeah, that's mostly Asian crime syndicate bosses.
Yeah. Thing is, like, I'll say this with the Guardian the Globe. The only reason why, like, one of the reasons why I like, besides like the introduction of new characters within like the Invincible universe, is that like because like if you read Invincible, they never go back to like the Order, because the Order is mentioned when like you encounter like Titan and stuff and like Machine Head and all that stuff in Invincible, but you never actually see who they are. So the fact that they're the villains of this book, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's real nice to see them. Like, they're like, I was always wondering what happened because I just never wanted to read.
Exactly. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that Invincible had like spin-off series and like miniseries. So
I can't say that I did either.
Yeah, but I was always curious to see who the Order were, and then we basically see them in Guarding the Globe. So yeah, but this issue was good. This issue was okay. I was like, you know what?
Point issue. There wasn't anything really special about it.
Exactly. I mean, the stuff with the Atlantis. Every time Atlantis is brought up in anything, I think it's funny. So like that was kind of like a plus to this issue. But other than that, it's just a standout, just like, you know, more introduction of like new characters and stuff like that. I love Kaboomerang. I think Kaboomerang is so funny.
Kaboomerang is great, and I like his dynamic and when he's added into the group of people.
Yeah, Kaboomerang's great. I mean, Yeti was in the last issue when we did during the last episode. He's like a little teddy bear, and I love it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, this issue's okay. It's all right.
No, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then we'll just go through issue 3 of Guarding the Globe. So issue 3, obviously, if you can see the cover, we see our boy, the Astounding Wolfman at the front. I mean, I'm probably the only one who actually likes. I like Gary and like the Astounding Wolfman. I don't think it's that bad.
I love his design. His story wasn't interesting to me.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it was okay. I would assume, because there's 30 issues of the Astounding Wolfman, that like it gets better than what like the first like 4 issues that we read. But yeah. So issue 3 starts with the Guardians were invited by Bulletproof, because Bulletproof when he's not being a superhero, he is a photographer.
Yeah.
And and we'll see what type of photographer he is. But so basically we see Zandale, who's Bulletproof, and then Brit and his wife Jessica, and with his girlfriend, introducing Bulletproof to the new member of the Guardians named Outrun, who is a speedster from South Africa. And and you'll find out throughout this book that the way they write her character is, kind of, it's very 2010. But
it's certainly a choice they made.
Yeah. But she kind of looks like she has the hots for Bulletproof. But like, they're going to this thing, and then you find out that like we see Doug. Is it Doug? Doug.
I think so.
Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, our boy, our cyborg boy Doug, being like, yo, Brit, I know we thought it was a good idea for like, all the new Guardians to socialize and meet up through like Bulletproof's gallery, but we didn't really know what type of photography that Bulletproof actually does. And it turns out he just does naked photography of his girlfriend, of her naked, doing poses, and them like supposedly having sex, and it's like It's just very erotic, very
my favorite
erotica.
is the one with the tiger.
The one with the tiger.
That's
I
the one
don't
with
have
the
that.
tiger.
I didn't put that page, but like,
Oh
yeah,
no,
it's
no, I
very
know you shouldn't, and it's good
yeah,
that you don't. But like,
yeah,
if you go find this on your own, viewers, there's
yeah.
one with the tiger, and I think it is
Yeah.
hilarious looking.
Yeah, there's one with the tiger women removed, like it probably looked like they have sex. They had sex. They took a photo of them having sex and then
She
put it
has
on
this
this gallery.
ridiculous lip bite. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, and then you just see fucking Shapes be like, "Yo, is it look like he's hurting her?" And then you see Kaboom like, "Yeah, he's definitely hurting her, mate." But she looked like she's enjoying it. It's like, what the fuck? Um, anyway, Outrun wants to. Outrun's thinking of Brit tries to apologize to Outrun, being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that like this was the type of photography he's doing." Like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm enjoying it. I can see the message behind these things, and I kind of want to buy one. Um, it's yeah, but anyway, it transitions to the Gardens of Globe headquarters in Utah, and we see Outrun running back to notice that Yeti is down, and he's kind of like sad, and she's just saying like, you know, like she's thinking that like, oh, like he's just sad because he didn't get a chance to go to the gallery because, you know, he doesn't, people are gonna freak out if he's there, but in
Right.
reality no, he just actually just like misses his family. uh
Hmm.
and then we'll find out who his family actually is later. But it transitions to the Order's headquarters where Titan is fighting. I always forget the guy's name. It's like Mr. Lou or something like that. The guy who can project the dragon, like that's like his power. But him,
Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah, him and Mr. Lou are fighting, and again, Mr. Lou was the guy that Titan screwed over when getting like the his with his territory, and he can project this dragon with his powers. But they fight, and the leader of the Order is like, "What the fuck are you doing? We're not supposed to be fighting here. We're supposed to be comrades." But like they have their beef, and like, you know, the leader's just not having it. And it
Hmm.
transitions back to London where we see Brit and Cecil chatting in their new headquarters, and one of their new global outposts is in the clock in Big Ben. And I find it very funny that like they're all Cecil's all thinking of hollowing out the Sphinx, so that they should have a fucking base in the Sphinx in Egypt. I think it's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, basically they're just talking about like their expansion and like how important it is that, like, you know, we establish all these outposts and these bases so that we can basically be needed or anywhere around the world 24/7 instead of being just based in America.
Hmm.
And and basically we're just finding out, and they're just talking about life, and then just basically talking about, oh, like, you know, Brit Jr. just started developing his powers, so it makes, you know, not having to baby proof the house easier. And then he's
Right.
about to ask Cecil like, hey, like, I'm just always wondering, like, do you have like someone in your life, because you must, there must be someone you go back to every time, like, you know, you're not working. And he's about to say something and it cuts out, and then we get to see, and it transitions to upstate New York where we see the astounding wolfmen being attacked by these stone
I
golems.
honestly don't know how Cecil could have someone in his life.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so either. Like he's basically like Nick Fury. Like
I think he's
Nick
married.
Fury
Yeah,
doesn't
I
seem
think
to,
he's married to his job.
yeah, he's married to his job. Um, but yeah, so it transitions back to the astounding Wolfman fighting these golem creatures, and
Hmm.
like this entire page is just exposition on like what these creatures are. It's this creature. It's basically it's these segments of this one creature named the Gorg, who basically like it was trapped, it was trapped underneath Stonehenge. Like Stonehenge was like a prison that kept him underground for like centuries. And but like, and I see like these little creatures are basically like remnants of him. But if they, so the goal is trying to not have them join together or also like be fully formed and like start getting like going ape shit.
Oh, so they're a Megazord.
Basically, they're like fucking Voltron.
Okay,
Um,
they're Voltrons. Got it. That makes
yeah.
sense.
But essentially he just gives them the exposition on like what's happening, and the fact that like he is like he because at this point the astounding wolfman in the art in his book, which I kind of wanted to read this arc, that he has his own like werewolf like squad now, like this werewolf like league that he's running. And they were fighting, but like they because they're werewolves, they turned back into human. But the only reason why he's still in his wolf form is because those gauntlets that he has store lunar energy. so that he can be a werewolf past
Night.
during the day. Yeah. So
I
they
think
start.
that's hilarious.
I
love that they're training. I love that they're training wolfmen people.
Yeah, they're just having like this space like this werewolf squad, and I think that's cool. Like I mean, it makes sense that to have like a supernatural force of like werewolves to stop like supernatural shit. It makes sense. But yeah, so like basically like they start fighting the the pieces of the Gorg, and I think it's really funny the fact that like we figure out that like Kaboomerang actually like he's not just like a guy who like throws boomerangs like super accurately, because like we find out that like because he starts curving a bunch like five of these boomerangs at once, and then they find out that like no, he has telekinesis.
Okay.
He's telekinetic, but like he just uses.
So what you're saying is he has his power is the thing that Diego's just good at naturally.
Basically, yeah, yeah, it's not like it's not like trajectory manipulation, but like I guess his telekinesis is like to that extent. But yeah, like he just uses the whole boomerang like accurate shtick so that no one actually knows he's telekinetic. So that but what I think is funny. But yeah, so they're getting all the wolf
fact, we saw
members.
a little bit of that in the underwater episode when he did the fancy shit with his boomerangs then.
Yeah. So it transitions to the fight continuing, like Outrun is like running all these people out of there, but like the Gorg, like the little Gorgs are like actually like getting a number on them, and so like they actually like defeat them all. But then no, they didn't defeat them all because Gorg goes in his true form, and it's just giant colossal like monster with like the Stonehenge like on his head. I think it's kind of funny.
Listen, he Megazorded up. Look at him.
Yeah, he Megazorded up. That's exactly what he did. So then basically like they've come up with a plan where like like hey, if we put like the pieces of Stonehenge like back to, like in the original like form, like in the original like pattern that it was like here, would it trap him again? You'd be like, oh, let's find out. So they get pieces of Stonehenge, and it's Cecil, Outrun, and Cecil, Yeti, Outrun, and Bulletproof go and get the pieces, and they just they form Stonehenge, and then Gorg is back like underneath Stonehenge again, but like it's in the middle of a fucking farm. And not in where's Stonehenge located again? Like in it's somewhere in like in the United Kingdom, I think.
I don't know. Easter Island is the place I know. I don't know where on the planet.
Yeah. But so now there's a Stonehenge in the middle of fucking upstate New York, and so the plan is foiled, and then it transitions back to the Order headquarters, where we see the leader. I never even know what the leader's name is. I like missed that throughout this entire movie.
I just like the way he looks. I think he has a good design. Yeah, I do not care what his name is. I just think
exactly. We're gonna call him. I don't know what to call him.
I mean, they'll probably say that they. I doubt. I can't imagine they didn't say his face.
Exactly. But essentially, he's monologuing about like how good it is that like
Oh, he's evil.
He's just called evil.
He calls himself. He says, "I am here to tell you right now that I am evil."
Okay. So he's giving his speech, and he's talking about how like how greedy and selfish like like people are, and that like the citizen walks among them. Like so there's something called the citizen that they don't really show in this book, but it's something that like he talks about briefly, and it's like it's not. So now we're gonna join forces and fuck shit up, and we get the reveal of all these members of the new members of the Order. So like essentially like while the Guardians of the Globe are recruiting globally, the Order's doing the exact same thing at the same time. So
and I have to imagine that's just in retaliation. Like they caught wind of it and they're just like, well, we should probably figure this out. Otherwise, oh no for us.
Exactly. So they show the members of the new the members of the order, and it's Mr. Liu, who is the head of the Asian territories, Titan, who's from New York, Embrace, who is the chick with the red outfit, with the very revealing red outfit, who is the who manages all the Middle East, but her headquarters is in Israel. The Walking Dread, who is this disgusting tank-looking motherfucker in the back, who controls Eastern Europe and Eastern Europe's crime syndicate from Poland. Machine Head, who is the dude that fucking Titan took who
Took
Titan
control over.
supposedly took his shit over. He is now the head. He's based in Los Angeles, and was and after negotiating a truce between Titan and involving the New York territory, the Face, who is the dude with the three eyes, who is the commander, who's in command of Canada, and his expanding influence throughout the northwestern United States. Insomniac, who's the dude with his eyes only fucking pulled back, he's watching over Egypt and Northern Africa. Red Eye, who's the dude with the glowing eyes, who's the leader of Brazil, who's the head of the crime syndicate Brazil and the South American continent. War Woman, who is taking
War
over
Woman
the
is cool because what I gathered from War Woman's story that I thought was cool is the Amazon person in the original Guardians of the Globe, that was her girlfriend, and it seems like she's on a revenge.
That was her girlfriend. Yeah, we actually saw her when it was, I think it was in issue the issue where like they all died.
Wherever our boy was getting killed, our people were getting killed by Nolan.
Omni-Man. Yeah, and she was actually sleeping in her War Woman's apartment got attacked, and she was sleeping next to her in their bed. So I thought that was cool.
And it seems like she and her thing is that and we'll get more of this next issue, but her thing is basically that she's taken over the throne.
Yeah,
because I guess technically she would be the queen.
Because basically
she was married to the former queen. However that works, I don't know if that actually works or if she had to do some actual coup shit. But she now controls all of Amazon. Even though it's
called Amazon. It's called the Isle of Amazonia, and she's like watching over everything in like the Mediterranean like sea area.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then we got Slaying Mantis, who is basically like Green Killer Moth. In Ireland.
I want to say I love how short his is. It's like he's the Slaying Mantis. He's in Ireland.
Yeah, basically. He doesn't need any more explanation than that. He's the Slaying Mantis from Ireland.
Yeah, him and Titan get no explanation. Titan from New York, Slaying Mantis, man in Ireland. Like that's it.
Exactly. And then we get Octoboss, obviously controlling the ocean, and like that's basically it. And that's how issue 3 ends of Guarding the Globe. So thoughts on guarding the Globe number 3?
Pretty much the same thoughts I had before. It's a fine story. It's just nothing special. I like the characters. I prefer I think the story's not bad. I just miss being away from regular Invincible, I think is the
exactly thing. I think like the problem is with this story, like we'll say like I know Matt complains about like how wordy Invincible is. I can confirm this is way worse. Like there's a lot of like a heavy dialogue and a lot of like big speech bubbles.
Look at this last page alone.
Yeah.
Last page, and they're just describing every character on it.
Exactly. Like it's just like what? Like it, which again like makes the pacing of the story drag because there's so much to read. But yeah, it's okay. It's again, it just establishes more characters and like gives more I like a lot. They show a lot more of like the characters like personalities, especially like in the beginning in the gallery scene, and we see Astounding Wolfman again, which is I think I like seeing him when he's there. But yeah, it's okay.
I definitely think it's a fun thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, so you're doing issue 4, right?
Yep.
All right,
Which is
so
the issue we have up next.
issue 4.
Mm-hmm.
Cool cover. I like the cover a lot. Shows more recruits of
Yeah, that's another thing. I like.
These are the cool. We see our boy in the back, freaking Kid Thor over here from Capes.
It's just you got Kid Thor in the back there. Knockout.
Yeah, because they're I
this,
describe them as like the Oliver Queen and Black Canary of the Invincible.
That's pretty much what they are. This girl,
Yeah.
her name is Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
Who this seems very clearly some sort of X-Men team, if you ask me.
It's like an X-Men branch. It's like an X-Men branch.
Because Cast Iron is just Colossus, and there's nothing you can do to convince me otherwise.
Exactly.
And then there's also, who was the ninja guy again? I forget his name.
It's Best Tiger.
Best Tiger. Japan Droid is the little girl with the dot on her chest.
Japan Droid, and then Le Bruiser is the dog, and he's from France.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think with Le Bruiser, if we'll see throughout this issue, I'm confused to see if he actually has abilities or not, or if he's just a dog.
I hope he's just a dog. I honest to God hope he's just a dog.
Yeah, that'd be funny. But like, he's always I think he's like a companion to
Pegasus.
I think to Pegasus.
Yeah, because they're always together.
But yes,
whenever I saw them.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we come in issue 4. We get so there's also an alternate cover, and this one is of Outrun.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool cover of her dashing, like sliding into a stop. Nothing. Mm-hmm. It's cool, but like it's just speed stopping.
Are you curious if like they got Corey Walker to go and design the rest of these characters or not?
I think that'd be something cool to figure out. I think it'd be cool if it was true.
Yeah,
end up being true.
Because like I mean, I think for the most part, like most of these characters are pretty well designed. I think.
Yes. Yeah. No, I like the I like the costumes for most of them. It bothers me how large Yeti's face is, even though I know that's intentional.
Exactly.
But the largeness of his face is just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It's weird.
I get it.
But anyway, we start this issue off. Black Samson's introducing all the new recruits. So he does exactly what the evil dude did at the end of last issue, and he just goes through, and he doesn't even tell them he just says name and where they're from. So we have Cast Iron first. Cast Iron is very clearly Colossus, and he's from Yugoslavia, which, and then we have Kaboomerang from Australia. After that is Outrun from South Africa, El Chupacabra from Mexico, the Yeti from Nepal, just Yeti, not the Yeti. Yeah. He's Yeti from Nepal, Pegasus from Russia, and Le Bruiser from France, Kid Thor from Canada.
Which surprised me because I was like, he's from Canada this entire time?
Yeah, I didn't know that. But I guess it does make sense. Japan Droid is from Japan, and Knockout from the United States. Mm-hmm. Also, I want to point out right now that I don't like how close the hair resembles of Knockout and Outrun.
Yeah.
I got them confused a bunch at first because I don't very carefully look at costumes. Mm-hmm. When they're out of costumes, I don't look at them carefully enough, and I get them confused sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of, and their costumes are kind of similar. Well, like, because they have like like the sleeveless look going on, but the only way you can tell, like, one's white and orange and one's with gloves, and the other one's red with white and orange, and the other one's red and orange. Yeah,
and like it's very similar costumes. But anyway, Black Samson gets the thing, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to Garden of the Globe now." And Brit's like, "Good job. You're the face of this organization now. You were a founding member of the last Guardians of the Globe." And Black Samson's like, "Hey, I almost got it wrong up there. Isn't there supposed to be another dude from China?" And this is where we get a cutaway to a dude named Best Tiger. And he's surrounded by ninja, just a ton of ninja. and he apparently only has one bullet left. And oh no, what's he gonna do? He's gonna fire that bullet and take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 ninja.
Yeah, I don't have it here, but like he takes out like 8 people with one bullet, and it's like, what the fuck?
And also ricochets. And Bulletproof comes in, and he's like, "Hey, that was dope. I didn't know you were blind." And Best Tiger's not blind. Best Tiger just wants the challenge, and that's what I respect about Best Tiger.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. So far, I'm loving Best Tiger. Like he's like I thought. Because like I talked to we said it to Demoan like before we started. Like I've always wanted to know more about Best Tiger because I see him in Invincible events. I think he's cool as shit. But like,
Cool. I will say that.
Yeah, I didn't know that his powers are good. Like he's just good. Like that's basically what his powers are.
He's not Daredevil. He's just good.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And anyway, we cut away to the mastermind of the Order and Embrace. And he's like, "Hey." And Embrace is giving him a progress report. And he says, "Okay, that's good. The time is now." And when he says that, there's a coordinated strike of all the supervillains and the heroes have to go and stop it. And we see Brit and Doug and this teleporter girl who is in charge of teleportation.
Yeah,
Miss
her name's
Popper. Name.
Yeah.
And she's teleporting them everywhere. And she needs an hour to recuperate. But there's just a bunch of stuff basically happening. And one sec. And the thing is, Kaboomerang, for some reason, is on his mission alone. But the reason for that is because El Chupacabra is a drunk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He passed out for the mission, and and Kaboomerang had to be there by himself, and Brit was pissed. And he basically called him pathetic. And El Chupacabra tried to blame his problems with his wife. And he said, and after he's called pathetic, he's like, "Yeah, you're right." And he really feeds into him being pathetic when people call him that.
Mm-hmm.
But Brit's mad. He goes to Cecil and he's like, "Get him off the team. Get El Chupacabra off the team or I'm going to break his fucking bones." The thing is, they all owe him some sort of favor. And
exactly.
You're like, okay,
like there's something that El Chupacabra did that like Cecil thinks that like we all owe him for it, which we don't really know what it is.
Not yet. In fact, I don't remember when we learn, if we learn. But anyway,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But anyway, Cecil, Brit's like, "Fuck." He's on thin ice, Cecil, and he tells him that he's on thin ice. So basically, this is El Chupacabra's last chance, and he needs to be set straight. Mm-hmm. So then Brit calls a huge meeting where he tells everybody, "Hey, we're not starting off slow. We're hitting hard and fast. We're defending people right away. We're basically at the next level now, so be prepared." And then they just kind of do a little like overview of all the bases and how the teams were broken up. Kid Thor and Knockout are having a conversation, and they're talking about how most of the bases are going good, except for the one where Knockout is at with El Chupacabra and Brit, because obviously those two aren't going to get along good.
Yeah. But Kid Thor's also complaining the fact that like he's on like a base on the moon and just hates that like there's nothing to do and like everything kind of sucks on the moon.
Yeah, the moon's not industrialized yet, so it's not really that fun for most people.
Mm-hmm.
After a while. But anyway, they go around. They start watching everything. Kid Thor, Cast Iron, Japandroid, they're on the moon. And then all of a sudden, there's an alarm. And we see that the new War Woman is attacking. And she's come back for revenge on the world of men because she hates men. Because Nolan, a man, killed her wife.
Yeah, killed her wife, and she's like, "Nah, B, that's not gonna happen on my watch."
No, not on her watch. So now Kid Thor, Knockout, Japandroid, El Chupacabra, Cast Iron, and Brit are gonna try to stop her. They do a pretty good job. She has these giant golem things that they had to kick the ass of, and it's just a big fight. And then El Chupacabra is kind of doing shitty though. But El Chupacabra comes up, and War Woman's there, and War Woman's like, "I smell alcohol on you. You are bathed in the sins of the woman, of a woman, and that you deserve death, basically." And El Chupacabra's just like, "Yeah, fucking end it, do it."
Yeah, like he's like crying. He's like, "Dude, please just kill me." Or I'm just
he's like, "End this misery." I was like, "This is so sad." But Cast Iron, God love him. He's like, he tries to save El Chupacabra. He takes an axe to his chest for him, and then War Woman just leaves. She claims victory and she leaves, and then Brit's like, "Well, El Chupacabra, you better hope he survives, or his blood is on your hands." And then we get it, and then after that we cut back to the Pentagon with Cecil, and they're just saying like, "This was way too coincidental to be an accident. This is coordinated. They're very organized, and they apparently know that it's the order." They thought it was a rumor, but it's true. The order, and Cecil's worried because he doesn't think the Guardians of the Globe can stop them. And then that's how issue 4 ends, with Cecil a very worried boy.
Basically. Again, another like meh issue. I do like again, I like this new like expanded roster of like the guard. I think they're all like, for the most part, like cool characters.
I personally really love Best Tiger and Cast Iron.
Oh, really?
I think they're both good.
For me, I just love that like Kid Thor and Knockout graduated from being from Capes to like an actual like big league thing, because like even though Cape for the most part, Capes like was kind of shitty a little bit.
Yeah, it's professional, but like it's low tier. Like they handle such a small area.
Yeah, which kind of is funny because like how Bolt like, you know, is probably never gonna be on the Guardians. Or at this point, they're just gonna be on Capes forever.
Honestly, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, but like Cast Iron is cool. Like, you know, him having to deal with fucking literally take an axe for fucking El
Chupacabra.
El Chupacabra. Best Tiger's awesome. I mean, we'll see more of Japan Droid, as well as like I think we did see like some like a cool conversation between like Le Bruiser and Pegasus. I think, right? Yeah, like they were like flying, like, and they like spotted people. I think that's next issue. Yeah, that's next issue. But yeah, I mean, I like the characters so far, like the roster. I like the fact that like the whole War Woman is like her motives and stuff like that, with just basically like avenging like her wife's death.
I thought that was a really cool twist they decided to take with that.
Yeah, which makes you wonder like if she'll ever like encounter Nolan maybe, or Omni-Man at some point. I don't know. That would be kind of. I would like to see that happen.
I feel like she would have to, especially. I can't imagine. I imagine it's not a story worth writing.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that she wouldn't have tried to attack Nolan at some point directly.
Exactly. Yeah. Word. But yeah. I mean, it was a cool issue. I mean, I do like the fact that like we get like a montage of like how like the superheroes like spend their downtime like socializing. I think it's kind of cool. Also like the fact that like, you know, Outrun again showing her how she's written is that like, you know, she's a very horny South African woman who's just trying to get with everybody, like mostly bulletproof, but like because she's literally staring at his ass, and she's like, yo, you don't have a girlfriend, right? He's like, yeah, but like I'm doing what Brit told me to do and washing your ass. And I'm just like, oh God.
And I'm like, God, that was really needed.
But yeah, it was an okay issue though. I did like the fight at the end, and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, yeah, I like that too. Because like I said, I like the Cast Iron stuff.
Yeah. All right, but you have anything else to say about it before we go to issue 5?
Not really to add in this one.
Okay. Word. All right, so then we're gonna go to I put like the pages like twice, but issue 5 of I just didn't put the cover, I guess. But yeah, issue 5 of Guarding the Globe starts with I believe a montage of all of the superheroes fighting against various supervillains that the Order has employed to start causing havoc. So we see, I don't know who Kaboomerang and Shapesmith's fighting, but but we see Yeti, Japandroid, and Kid Thor go after Doc Seismic. So like he comes back uh as well. So then go to day 3 of like these this of super heroics to see that Damon's boy Cast Iron has passed away, and you see Brit just fucking pissed.
Yeah, I would be too. El Chupacabra deserves those piss that Brit's slinging his way. El
Exactly.
Chupacabra needs to pull himself together. Either that or take off the mask. One of the two. I don't care which.
Exactly. I mean, it's funny because, like you said, like you really like Cast Iron, but he only shows up for an issue. He shows up for one issue and dies in the next one.
I was so sad. It was upsetting. I loved Cast Iron.
Yeah. But then it transitions back to Cast Iron's funeral, and Chupacabra shows up, and Brit is honestly does not have it. In the moment he sees him, he's like, Chupacabra just wants to apologize for what he did. He knows that he fucked up, but then Brit's not having it because Brit takes his superheroics very seriously and starts to punch him in the face and tries to beat the shit out of him at the funeral.
As
and
you should.
and no, it is deserved. And he basically is just like, he's saying like you're off the team effective immediately. And then like, he looked at Cecil like, yo, he's like, starting now, like I'm in charge of the team. He's like, and if you have a problem, if there's a problem, like, you're going to listen because like because you recruited El Chupacabra, Cast Iron's blood's also on your hands as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Brit leaves the funeral, and then it transitions, and then we see a little page at the end, a little bit where basically like the evil mastermind is like, the time draws near until like, it's going to be like 5 days until we make our move. It transitions back to Chupacabra at a bar, after dealing with like, what happened, and Outrun catches up with him and it's just like, he's
Outrun's
like,
horny. You know how it is.
basically she's literally just like, I've been looking all over for you, and he's like, why would you look for me? I killed an innocent man. And she's like, listen, I mean, you didn't throw the axe that killed him. You didn't push him into the way, so it's not really your fault. And he's like, it's like, I'm sorry, like I'm still dealing with something with my wife. And she puts her hand on his directly onto his dick, and it's just like, and licks him across the face. And it's like, I can make you forget all about your wife. I'm just like, Outrun, like Kirkman. This is what you decide to do with Outrun? Seriously?
Like they really just did this without, like, look at her.
Yeah, like what? Like whoever, like who's the who's the co-writer on this? It's fucking Benito Serrano. I feel like this was his idea. I don't believe this is correct.
I can't imagine it's not.
Yeah. Oh god, I hate it. But like, so basically, like, she licks Outrun's face and transitions back to the Brit household, where we see Brit, Jessica, and Brit Jr. Basically talking about how, like, they'll be talking about how Cast Iron's death and all that stuff, and that like he having El Chupacabra was a mistake, and she's like, she asks him for more wine, and she's like, I've had enough, and it transitions to a meeting between Doug and the rest of the Guardians. So it's Shapesmith, Kaboomerang, Yeti, Best Tiger, LeBruiser, and Pegasus. Yeah, and LeBruiser. And then they're talking about, just the fact that, like, how it's being kind of difficult to keep up with the Order stuff because they're very well organized, very well connected. They got pretty much almost every villain and shown in the Invincible universe so far. And basically, like, the best thing to do right now is to get inside information on the organization to get an advantage. And yeah, so they transitions back to so they're basically gonna be going after as many villains as possible to get any information on the Order. So it transitions to they're basically they're going after fucking Kill Cannon again.
Because why not
Eve's supposed arch nemesis.
Kill Cannon is the main villain of Invincible, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, he is the main villain.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
for no reason.
So then we they go after Kill Cannon, and basically like they even say that he's such a D-list villain. He probably does not even know anything.
He really is. He's not even D-list.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because Adam Eve's an A-list hero.
Yeah. Well, she's B-list at this point.
Well, yeah, at this point.
Yeah. No, I'll say A-list. No,
you're at this specific point we are in the podcast. She is B-list.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah, so they knock out Kill Cannon and basically just say like, they wasted their time with trying to get in front of him, but we're gonna take him in anyway. And then obviously we see transitions to Kaboomerang and Outrun playing I think they're playing tennis in one of the training rooms, and then she's like, he's like, and he lost, and he's like, damn well use your super speed to win. He's like, how would I? And she's like, what do you mean? How would I know that you're not using your telekinesis? And and he's like, they worked up a sweat, they worked up a sweat, and he's gonna take a shower. And she's like, I could hit. It's like I could join the shower. I could hit the showers with you. And he's like, oh yeah, I like that idea. I'm just like, why? Why?
I can't fucking wait for it.
Oh my gosh, why? It transitions back to Best Tiger and Magnetak, another D-list villain in Invincible that we've seen. Basically like Magneto. He's sober Magneto. Basically I
don't even remember him. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
He was in the issue where it was with when we first see Titan and Invincible going after the machine heads or Mr. Liu. Either it's Machine Head or Mr. Liu's taking over the New York territory, and that's where we see Magnets Magnetak, Magnamaniac, the Tether, and Battle Beast. The first time we ever see Battle Beast. Yeah. But he is basically in his stash lair talking about how no one has caught up to him, and he's to have him how mad heroes have ignored him, and the fact that he's basically stole millions dollars worth of shit, and no one's come after him. But he gets a gun to his head while in his hideout, and turns out Best Tiger was onto him the whole time, but was waiting for the right moment to take him in.
I mean, shit. If you're Best Tiger, though, you gotta just wait till the last minute for this kind of shit.
Yeah, no. Listen, no. The Best Tiger was already 10 steps ahead of this man, basically.
He's playing 4D chess.
Yeah, word. But it transitions to Kid Thor talking about how Moon Coffee sucks. It's this Moon base sucks. It's just terrible, and the fact that he can't get any TV either within Japan Droid because if they read her manual that upgrading existing technologies are primary function and just makes this gargantuan just home fucking theater with 4D visuals, and it's just can you fix the coffee machine too? And it transitions back to Cecil giving more orders about that there's something crossing the hemisphere, and that it's gonna that a bunch of this super activity is gonna be it's spreading from continent to continent, and that it might hit the West Coast in the next few hours. So then they all stop wherever they do whatever they're doing and team up. And essentially they find out that it's again another one of those frost giants. And the last time we saw one was in one of the Brit one shots. I think it was either Cold Death or Red, White, Black, and Blue. Yeah. So basically, it's a fucking frost giant. Yeah, I've kind of one of these before. And then he punches it in the face and is like, hey, I don't want any trouble. He's like, you want to fight me, you can fight me, but I'm just trying to I'm here fighting my son. And it is revealed that Yeti is when he said he was missing his family, that his family are the frost giants that Brit has been fighting. And then it's revealed that when the frost giant's like, hey, come here, little boy. He's like, little boy, what do you mean? How old are you? And he's like, how old are you, kid? And it's revealed that Yeti is 12 years old.
Yeti is a preteen boy.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, Yeti, for the most part, he's big, but like he's like, I don't know, I'll say like he's like 7 feet tall. He's like 7 feet, like 8 feet tall, like he's like Hulk size. So like he's gonna be as big as a skyscraper by the time he's a fucking adult.
Yeah, and to have that under your belt to fight for you, wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. So then after that, he's just like, listen, he's like, I don't want to add. He's like, first off, we like, the murder of her teammate, like dealing with a team member who's like, drinking his ass off and like, got another member killed is one thing, but adding child endangerment to the list of our sins is also not great. So he's like, but I'm super tough, and he's like, I'm sorry, kid, I don't want to do this, but you're gonna be off the team effective immediately. Uh, and it transitions to Bulletproof and Outrun. Bulletproof's trying to get something to drink, and he's just talking about Bulletproof's complaining about how busy his schedule is. He's like, like she's gonna offer to like relax him, and he's like, I got a girlfriend, but like, yeah, like I wasn't planning on telling her. Were you? And he's like, well, and I'm just like, God damn it! Can you write this is why write a female character this way? Like, please.
I don't know. It's not necessary. Like, she's so horny.
Listen, I'm not gonna say that promiscuous women don't exist, but like this is kind of stretching it too much because it's a constant theme with their character now.
No, it's her only character trait. Her only character trait is that she likes racquetball and she's horny.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, so then it transitions back to Cecil. Again, talking about telling Brit to stop kicking out members willy nilly because like the order's expanding our roster. It's not a great time to start diminishing ours. We need to like expand as much as possible. And then he asks Gary Hampton, the Astounding Wolfman, who's there, because I think they're at his mansion, or at the Astounding Wolfman, like at the we're called the Astounding Squad's headquarters, and he's just like, yo, like we could always use you like on the team, like you're a pretty good asset. Like, yeah, but I'm kind of busy, with my own team at the moment, so he's passing on it. But
it's because he's raising wolf children, he seems to be a wolf Professor X.
Basically, yeah, like he's running the it's Gary Hampton School for Gifted Werewolves. It's like that's basically what it is.
That's exactly what it is. It's just a bunch of werewolves doing shit in the background. One of them playing basketball indoors.
Exactly. So then, but he passes on it because he's busy, and then it transitions to Brit talking to his sister Brittany, who also has abilities, and is asking her to see if she wants to join in, and she's just like, you know what, not right now, and then which is funny because like we're eventually gonna be covering like the Brit miniseries, right? Because he has a miniseries. As well, and it goes into more in depth on like his family and stuff like that, and how he got his powers.
Ooh, I do want to see that one because I don't know that.
But so then it transitions back to Demon Rorschach, aka Damien Darkblood, asking Black Samson asking him if he wants to join in and to see if he's really good at like crime investigation, but he could get his hand on crime fighting, and he just grunts. So that's obviously a no. And then we get Shapesmith talking to this other. I don't know if we've seen this dude before, but like he's basically.
I have to assume he's another Martian, and if it's anything like Shapesmith, I don't trust him.
Yeah, but like either he's a Martian or he's just a joke character, and Brit's like no. So they're just recruiting right now, and it's cool. But it transitions to Pegasus and LeBruiser, talking about like they're also trying to like get teammates to recruit as well, and they see a robbery taking place. So then they decide to thwart it, and she basically just throws LeBruiser from like how many feet up?
LeBruiser's he's Cannonball, but without.
Like, is he just a dog, or is he like a superpowered dog?
I think he's Cannonball, but he just can't make himself fly. That's why he's Pegasus to throw him.
Yeah, but and they just start thwarting the crime in progress together, and it's kind of cool. It's a really cool moment. I like Lou Bruiser. I like Lou Bruiser, just the fact that like he's just a dog. Um, but yeah, they start thwarting this crime, and then they leave while the police arrive, and it transitions back to Shapeshifter and Shapesmith and Boom and Outrun again. Outrun um, realizing that she and Safety are the only ones at the base, she decides to intervene while he's playing video games to educate him on female anatomy, because supposedly there's a rumor around that she's heard that like he's been intrigued by wondering how female anatomy works.
Okay. Yeah, I guess okay.
As a nod to him like being like talking about like how he loves looking at female body parts in the photo gallery last issue. And she also asked him if she can make any if she can turn his body turn his body parts into any shape, and he's like, yeah, pretty much. And he's like, how does that, why is that relevant to this?
Yeah, he doesn't know. And it feels real dirty almost, because he so clearly is in the dark about this.
Exactly. But so there's something, and then we get an alert. Cecil gets an alert that there's something going down in Paris. It's just put it on the screen, and we get. I don't have this up here, but these various establishing shots of like just Paris, just like in shambles, and just people are fucking killed, and just like buildings are like collapsed, and it's kind of wild shit. To reveal that the order has finally has struck, and their first plan of business was to destroy a majority of Paris to make a statement. And yeah, we get to see the roster, and I forgot that Isotope was also here because again he works for Titan.
No, yeah, it's so many cool people on this shot.
Yeah, it's really dope.
It's a real fun shot. Like I love the dragon up there. Like
yeah, word.
And I love how they're all standing in front of a destroyed Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, word. But so then after that, it transitions to the Pentagon, and Cecil's like, he's like, we got like reports all over that like communications are down, that we have to get they have to try to get the Guardians. And he's like, like, sir, we don't. And Doug's like, yo, we don't really have it wouldn't hurt to like send in like it wouldn't hurt to send in 2 teams, and then the guys like satellites have put like visuals are in position for like visuals on Paris, and it's like put it on screen, and they see what happened with Paris. It's like, you know what? No, this is not enough for 2 teams. Send
everyone.
Yeah, and that's how issue 5 ends.
Yeah.
So thoughts on issue 5?
I think this is where I think these last 2 issues is where the series starts to pick up a little.
Yeah, it does.
I think it leans into the action side of Invincible more than the other ones. Which I get, because those are just the first 4 issues. It's establishing the scene, but like these last 2 action, like the last half of this issue and all of issue 6, I did enjoy.
Yeah, word. I mean, yeah, it is a lot much of like a better read because like things start to pick up a lot more.
Yeah, there's actually stuff happening. Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I also agree. Like, yeah, like this issue was a lot more interesting than the other ones so far, because the other ones were a lot more just like exposition and just establishing these characters, and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. I liked it. It's a good issue. It's probably my favorite. It's my favorite issue. That's in this miniseries.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah. But yeah, any other thoughts? I like this page is also great. Like the Ransom Getty is really like if this book is like the writing is very like mad what you've said, but like the art is really good.
No, I really like the art.
Yeah. He and I because I'm so used to like Otley and like Walker, like they're how like the characters drawn in their styles, but like seeing like this more like traditional, like was more like style that like is more like a lot more detailed like comic book style that we're used to is with these characters is pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah, all right, so then we'll just move on to
issue 6.
Issue 6. So our final issue 6, regarding the global, this is also a really dope cover of the Mastermind holding up Brit with the bodies of the other
Everyone
Guardians
else.
members.
Not even just the Guardians, it's also the villains.
Oh yeah, word, yeah.
Because I see
exactly.
Embrace, Octoboss,
yeah, three like
other villains whose names I don't remember.
Yeah, the Face, and like we see
Machine
like
Head and Titan are there.
Oh, they are. Yeah, and like we see like Yeti, like Bulletproof Samson, like Black Samson, Boomerang, all that stuff.
Fun fact that I didn't notice before: robots in this, like regular robot.
What the fuck? Why?
I have to assume that's Monster Girl back there, the green thing.
But, oh word! I didn't even notice that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I just noticed. I don't know why they are there though.
Yeah. But yeah, but this is where the art changes, and instead of Ransom Getty, it's Kris Anka on the inks. And his art, I mean, it's good, but it's a little bit of a. I mean, it's good, but it's not like a. Yeah, it's
more like soft art than what I'm usually
instead of like the hyper detailed that like Ransom does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this issue starts with the evil mastermind gloating about like how he just fucked up Paris, and the fact that like no, like we're gonna start, the next plan of attack is to go to Washington and to make a statement there and spread their empire. And Master Lou's a little bit concerned by him. He's a little worried, a little worried about it, but
he thinks it's too much too fast. But little does he know that this is actually too slow for Mastermind. But anyway, the rest of the team pops in through the portal, and I actually do like this shot of the team popping through the portal.
Oh, it's a dope page. I like this shot a lot.
It is a dope page because you get all the heroes, which is
again, like it's just like the fact like you see like, all these cool heroes and just like Bruiser's just a dog. It's just
Bruiser's just a dog. And then there's also just a little girl. And I understand she's also an android, but like she's still just a little girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is a really dope. I like this page a lot. It's a really dope page.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we get more toward the fight with all the people fighting. Millions of people have died in this attack, apparently. So they're not even holding back anymore. They're just killing. Yes, killing. But like they're nothing held back. They're just if they have to kill, they have to kill. That's where they're at right now.
But again, we see like with these looking at these pages more, we see like Brit going after Octoboss, and then Japan Droid and Samson fighting, and like Boomerang using his using telekinesis and his boomerangs. You see fucking Bruiser just go through it, dude.
Yeah, no, it's not even
like, dude, like what?
Dudes.
He has to not just be a dog.
Two dudes.
Like he has to just not be just a dog, right? Like he has to have some sort of powers.
He absolutely has powers. If you tell me he doesn't have powers, you're lying.
Yeah.
But what else? But Black Samson is fighting Titan, and they're talking about how Titan's like, hey, Titan, you were always like a criminal, but like you weren't like this. And Titan's like, I'm sorry, dude, and then he just throws him out. And then Embrace tricks Knockout into knocking out her boyfriend. Yeah. And then also herself for some reason.
No, it's fucking what it was is that actually no way, yeah, I think that was the case. No, she possessed Knockout. Because Embrace can like go into like a misform and like go inside people's bodies and just like possess them.
Right. I actually forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what the mist is. That makes sense. Okay. Thank you for explaining that, because I was so lost there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also get Outrun. She's trying to outrun these laser beams. I'm sorry. Best Tiger's trying to kill the Walking Dread, but he's failing. It's just not going well.
I mean, just like he's just like Walking Dread's monologue. He's like, yo, like no bullets can take down the Walking Dread. And he's like, no worry, I have a lot of bullets.
Yeah, and that's the best line. But then we get Outrun, and she's just hit by a laser beam in the face. Because no one in the face because nobody can escape the gaze of Red Eye.
Yeah, he's basically like Dark Side with his Omega beam. Like they track you and it's like shot at you.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we see Brits fighting the three-eyed guy who's in charge of Canada. Japan droids fighting Mantis, and Shapesmith's fighting the dragon in the background. Shapesmith needs help, and a Japan droid's coming, but she needs 13 seconds to beat the slaying Mantis.
Yeah.
And then we keep going, and we see Mastermind kind of just walking up in the background like a badass toward Brit, and they just picks him up. And he's like, he's gonna crush Brit, but Brit's like, hey, let's not do that. Being crushed is not my thing. And then he takes off his helmet, and this motherfucker is ugly.
Ugly.
He's ugly underneath there. He looks like a scroll, but like an ugly scroll.
Yeah. I literally saw this page and was just like, ew. Like, what the fuck?
Right? And he's freaking out that his helmet's gone.
Yeah.
And he throws Brit, and then all of a sudden, and I guess, and technically speaking, you can't tell because it's a comic, but in a couple of panels, you see that technically everything is just paused. Apparently, Brit's ruined years of planning by taking off the mask. This man's been trying to inhibit his powers of control and influence, just so he could do something for his dad. And now he's willing to accept the punishment, even though losing the helmet wasn't completely his fault. And apparently the only person left alive right now is Japan Droid, because it only works on carbon-based life, not like robots and machines. So Japan Droid is okay. And Japan Droid has one of the best lines in this comic.
Dude, she does, yeah.
And she stands in front of him and she's calculating. My odds of success are 0.0001%. My odds of surrender are 0.0000%. And I think that's wonderful. She knows she can't win, but she's not going to surrender.
Exactly.
And she's right. She doesn't win. Yeah, she just kind of gets her shit rocked. And then this dude just snaps and everything just disappears. Like all the work he's put into it disappears, and he's going to start again from scratch. And it seems like another 100 years or so. But then Brit wakes up and he sees the city destroyed and he doesn't know what's happened. Everyone's cleared out. And they're just like, well, we have to be ready because they're going to come back. But guess what happens next? Guess who's back, Mikey? Guess what have finally returned to us?
Monster Girl and Robot.
Monster Girl and Robot. And you know what they've been doing? They've been ruling an interdimensional empire.
They basically the Flaxons, they run that shit now.
Yeah, they're adults. Now they're in charge. That's it.
Yeah, and they're aged up now and they're adults.
And it's absurd.
Because I think it's kind of I know, I love it because it's kind of dope because like
coming back
because you can tell that they're aged up, not just because like you can't really tell about like with Rex, but like with Monster Girl, she's a lot like her monster form's a lot more like is a lot less like bigger and is more like a normal size, like like just a very like so which means that like she's aged up because her monster form has increased. Has lessened in size, which shows that like the belt is robot Rex made her is working.
Yeah, she's not a baby right now, so her monster form is small.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're finally back. But then we get another teleportation from Brit, and he's going to Yeti. He kicked him off the team, remember? And he comes and he says, "Hey, Yeti, we could have actually used you in that last fight. Also, we have a 6-year-old dog and 2 preteens leading the team now. So we think we can get away with having you on the team."
No, not like they're leading the team. It's just like, they were preteens when they were on the Guardians. So, like, I guess you're an exception.
Yeah. No, exactly. And Yeti's real happy. And he says, as long as his parents say yes, he's joining the team.
Yeah. And, like, you just see his parents. Like, he's 12 years old and is, like, literally so tiny compared to his parents. Like,
imagine. I can't imagine all the growing he has to do.
I would feel that he would be bigger if he was 12.
Right? I feel like he'd be at least like crotch size on the adults.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, we're. It seems like we're right at the end. So you want to take us out here, Mikey?
Yeah, word. So essentially, like, yeah, so essentially, like, Brit's doing a press conference, talking about like just what happened with the attack on Paris and like the order, and they've begun doing like reconstruction. They've been doing like reconstruction and like setting things like back to normal again, and like the destruction of Paris has like sent like basically like shockwaves through like the international community. So like a lot more threats are gonna be popping up a lot more of the world now that the order's made like a clear statement. And like, and he's talking about like ever our goal with like our new Guardians of the Globe initiative is that like we've been trying to expand the Guardians to each part of the world so that they can essentially just be um defending each corner of the world at any given time, instead of just focusing on just being just in America. Um, and so that like now their message is we stand before you, assembled as a show of strength. Tell the world you were here. That we are here for you, and we will always be here for you. And everybody says no matter how great the challenge of the Guardians of the Globe are here to stay. And we get this awesome like a dope like double plate splash of this like all like the new Guardians of the Globe is like assembling together.
It is real because you even get Monster Girl and Robot in there. Even, they haven't really done much. They just got back, but
yeah, they just got back.
Cool. They still look cool.
Yeah, it's so dope. I like it. I like it a lot. I also like. I love how like just Ransom Getty and Kris Anka draw Black Samson. I just think it's so cool. Trust me, like I love the way Otley does it, but like I love how like Black Samson's drawn here. It's so nice.
Yeah, I actually I don't know. I like the sleeves that he has. I didn't think I'd like the open sleeves on the end, but I actually like them.
Yeah, but it's a great establishing shot of just like, hey, it's the new Guardians of the Globe, like finally assembled. Like here you go. But yeah, so then we get a final page of the evil mastermind again. Basically like talking to his father, basically telling him to forgive him. And it's like, yeah, I know the rules, and it's like I must accomplish the goals that you like, as a tribute to like your glory and like and like without using the gift. He's like, well, he wants to use it. He wants to conquer the world without using his powers.
Right. Which admirable. I get it.
And he's just talking about he's like the citizen. He's like the citizen, the citizen, the women, the child, the strong, and the weak will all perish. And I'm not sure if he's just saying just in general or like these are actual like people that he's talking about.
I don't know enough. I don't know where this is going even, and I don't know if they continued this.
But it basically he's just saying like I'm just gonna finish what I started in order for you to like and in respect to your name. And he's like I will succeed, and like that's how issue 6 ends. Yeah, thoughts on issue 6?
Oh, I liked it. I liked the direction they seem to be going. I'm still not a huge fan of the book, but it definitely did get better as it went on.
It did, yeah. Issue 6 is good. I think this is actually like, as I said, it's like issue 5 and issue 6 are the best.
I 100%
in the miniseries. But yeah, like it's a good issue. I mean, it just establishes like we got a dope battle from the beginning, and then we get a little bit more insight on the evil mastermind's plan, even though it's still not that clear. I'll say this right now. He's basically like Steppenwolf, and the guy that like his father is basically like they're like I'm assuming like Kirkman's version of like Darkseid. Right? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from him.
That's just the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's good. I mean it's just establishing, hey, like it's the new. We finally got a new Guardians of the Globe because like after the Invincible War and all that other stuff, that like the Guardians were kind of a mess. But now we have an official roster, which I like. I love the roster. I love the characters that is introduced with this new globe, with new Guardians. Finally, Robot and Monster Girl are finally back after going into the Flaxen dimension.
I missed them so much.
So did I. And it's funny because like we also said this like yesterday, Demoan, that like we didn't know about this. We didn't know that they showed up in like this as well. We only like showed up again like in Invincible. So I'm assuming by the time we
until they came back to the main
so
story.
assuming like because this takes place during the Viltrumite War like on Earth. So by the time like Mark and Mark, Nolan, and Oliver and them come back to Earth, like they're already there.
This is all dealt with. Like they've been doing their own stuff.
Yeah. But we just new Guardians of the Globe. I dig it. But like again, the first 4 issues of this, the first like not even 4 issues, like the first like the first 4 issues of this book are just not good. Like it's very
it's hard to get through.
It's hard to get through just because the pacing, because there's so much like exposition and just stuff that like doesn't even need to be there, to be honest with you, that like the pacing suffers and the book drags so much. And then it only picks up at the last 2 because shit's actually happening,
Yeah.
But so any like final thoughts on guarding the globe?
No. Final thoughts is if you don't want to read this, you don't have to. It doesn't really add much to the story.
I mean,
the only really important characters in the story were Robot and Monster Girl, and they didn't come into the end. And you're going to see them anywhere in the main story. So, like, if you don't want to read this, don't. It's not worth it.
I mean, I'll say this again
it's interesting, so like it's not going to be a waste of time.
It's interesting. I'll say this again. The reason why like we've been doing the side stuff in the first place, so that like if you want to get background on some characters, because they do show up in the Invincible like main story, as well as like there's another spinoff as well called the Invincible Universe that we're going to be covering as well. That these characters show up in, so we know who these characters are without having to like just not look like we don't know what we're talking about. But I mean, this book is it's meh, but like there's some good stuff here. Like there's some good characters, some cool characters that show up, but like again a lackluster story with a cool-ish type threat to it, because they're going to be doing more of the Order stuff again when they do volume 2 of Guardian the Globe as well, which we will also cover.
Right.
But yeah, I mean it's all right. I think it's okay. It's an average book. It's the best side thing we've covered, I'd say.
No, 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's the best side.
I would say like if I had to give like a range, this is way better. It's way better than Adam Eve and Rexplode.
I think it's a lot better than Wolfman.
Yeah, better than from what because we only read the first 4, so like we don't know how the rest of the Astounding Wolfman is. But like I'll say, like from what we've read, better than Astounding Wolfman. Is it better than Capes? No.
I think we're about the same level.
You're at the same level. I like Capes a lot more than this. Is it better than Tech Jacket?
I didn't read Tech Jacket. I can't say.
Well, I think this is better than Tech Jacket. Well, we only read the first 2 issues of Tech Jacket. But yeah, that's how I'd rank it around that range. But
that makes sense. I understand that so far.
But yeah, any more thoughts on Guarding the Globe as a whole? We are covering season volume 2. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the spreadsheet where it falls, like where it takes place after.
I'm actually kind of interested to see what they do with the Mastermind guy. I won't lie. They did pique my interest.
Yeah, word. Yeah, so essentially, like after this, after Viltrumite War Part 2, we have 3 more books in like we have 3 more episodes of the main story, and then we go back to volume 2 of Guarding the Globe. And then after that is our next event. That makes that ties with the Guardians again with the Guardians of the Globe, because they show up heavily in our next event, which is an event I'm very excited for. But,
that makes sense.
So thanks for people who are watching or are going to watch this. Next episode we are going back to the main story to the Viltrumite War Part 2. You can expect that episode on either tonight or Saturday. We're debating on when we're doing it, but But yeah, I'm excited because the Viltrumite War Part 2. You know, the first part was fucking crazy. The next part is just nuts.
I love the Viltrumite War.
No, it's phenomenal. But yeah, also we still got to do the Science Dog special, which
yeah, we do.
Which
yeah,
is also
what we should do. What we should do is we should just make one episode a two-parter and get it out of the way.
Oh, word, really?
That's
word.
You know what? Viewers don't hold me to that.
Yeah,
I should have said that on live.
We'll figure it out. Well, like the Science Dog special is only like 2 issues, so it's gonna be a breeze, to be honest with you. But yeah,
do it.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks again. Simple outro. Like wash your damn hands. Wear your mask. Don't lick things you're not supposed to. Get vaccinated if you can. And yeah, man, we'll catch y'all later.
All right, get home safe.